If you are someone that likes money, or you like getting paid after working a 12-hour shift, or you have a bank account, you're going to want to stop and watch this video all the way through. This is something that I believe Donald Trump is going to go after next, specifically because not only is it in the Project 2025 agenda, but it was talked about decisively last year after he won the election. Let's start a bit with history here. So this man on your screen is Franklin D. Roosevelt. You can thank him for the fact that you can deposit your money into your bank accounts and nothing happens to it. And when the Great Depression started, a very unpopular man, this guy was president of the United States, Herbert Hoover. And things had gotten so bad in the country that people were calling homes under him essentially Hoovervilles. He was so disliked that he lost re-election decisively. FDR just completely wiping him out. So when you talk about a major electoral defeat, a mandate, that was it, Roosevelt in 1932. And things were really bad in the US economy. And Americans did not trust the banks. That was an unmitigated no. People were pulling their money out the banks in droves. They were stuffing them in their mattresses. They were keeping them in their homes. Older folks really did not trust the banks. Americans at large really did not trust the banks. And more than 4,000 American banks essentially collapsed because of that. And when FDR became president, within days of taking office, emergency legislation got passed that would ensure Americans would essentially restore their confidence in the banking system. We need people to trust the banks. We need people to put their money into the banks, because without that, the economy effectively cannot function the way it is supposed to. And FDR knew that. So he did one of these little fireside chats that he did throughout his presidency to convince the public, hey, you can trust the banking system.
First of all, let me state the simple fact that when you deposit money in a bank, the bank does not put the money into a safe deposit vault. It invests your money in many different forms of credit, in bonds, in commercial paper, in mortgages, and in many other kinds of loans. In other words, the bank puts your money to work to keep the wheels of industry and of agriculture turning round.
That was one of FDR's famous fireside chats, essentially on the radio in the nation, and what he was talking about in terms of Americans keeping their confidence in the banking system. And by June, 4 months after that address, he signaled that the Banking Act of 1933 was signed into law officially. It was a major turnaround for economic dismay. And one of the agencies that was born out of that was the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which basically ensures that your money is safe when it is go and deposited into the bank, and that your saving account remains intact. That is what the FDIC is. Donald Trump won the 2024 election last year, and he's going to abolish the FDIC. This is from CNN, quote, "One of the dumbest ideas, abolishing the FDIC could backfire on Trump and his allies. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation was created during the Great Depression to restore trust in a financial system shaken by failure of thousands of banks. Today, during a time of distrust in government, the FDIC stands apart in the alphabet soup of bank regulators as a rare agency that many Americans trust. It has a long track record of protecting insured bank deposits during good and bad times. Yet it's unclear whether the FDIC can survive Trump 2.0. So essentially, they are going to try to come after it. And it is a really bad thing to go after the FDIC in terms of Americans having their money in the bank accounts, and lots of people being concerned right now in terms of potentially pulling their money out of the banks. So with all that's going on right now, keep a very clear-eyed about what's happening. They are going through Project 2025 page by page. This is all from the Project 2025 agenda, and going after the FDIC and the way that your money stays in your bank account, that is next. Eyes open, heads up, stay focused. Watch what they are doing and not what they are saying. There's a lot of distractions. The breaking news is meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to dismay you, but stay focused. Pay attention to what's happening. There are a lot of more important stories that are happening under the surface that's not getting just enough attention. So be sure to spread this video with a friend or family member, especially if they have bank accounts. They're going to want to know about this. I'm Jeremiah Patterson, your independent news reporter. I keep you updated on all things news, politics, and history. You can follow us on Blue Skies, Substack, and YouTube for more consistent reports and updating.